Hey everyone, Dr. Zio here again, and today we're here to talk about Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, Episode 3, Off Grid. Now, as always, we're going to do our summary, likes, dislikes, and then conclusion. So, this episode is really kind of more of like a laid-back, chill episode out of the three. In this episode, we're mostly just spent with our time on Eridus with the Rangers as they become acclimated to the new world around them, try to get the food situation sorted out so they can, boost morale. Ion's the one who's making the food because, of course, he has Ion's Cafe. And Billy's over here working on, syncing up figuring out how to make new powers with Master Red's staff. Meanwhile, Izzy and Fern are having their own conversations, as well as trying to clear out a space for Billy to have his own room. And they unearth plans to convert the Dino Hinge base into a spaceship. Ollie's over acclimating to his new arm, trying to get used to that. And Amelia is just kind of being a leader so far. I mean, that's really most of what happens in this episode. It's not much. They do end up getting their new Cosmic Fury powers at the end of the episode. Basically, Billy is able to use Master Red's staff to reestablish a link to the Morphin Grid. He establishes a link to the Morphin Grid somehow through stuff and things, I guess. And it creates basically the cosmic orbs. So there's a cosmic orb for all 5 Rangers, and then for all 4 Rangers, and there's one more for Ollie and Zato when they eventually return. So they all link their cosmic orbs with their new morphers and transform into Cosmic Fury Rangers. And we have this really nice moment where everyone acknowledges the fact that Amelia is now the Red Ranger and what that means for her, because essentially the Morphin Grid chose her to be Red Ranger because she's the one who stepped up and became leader during these hard times when Zato, the previous leader, was away. So now we've got all that settled, let's go ahead and talk about my likes for the episode. So during the beginning of the episode, there's a brief little conversation where Billy's over here relating to the Rangers and losing their powers. He's talking to them about how the Mighty Morphin Rangers originally lost their Dino powers and how he had to go from Dino powers to becoming a Wolf Ninja. And I liked how Solon's response to that was, going from dinosaurs to a wolf is quite the downgrade. I'm like, girl, this man is not just a wolf. At least he wasn't a frog. He was a wolf ninja. In my book, that's a surefire upgrade from being just a Triceratops and just having dinosaur powers, because you also got ninja powers in the ninjetti form, and you also got jetting with those ninja powers. So, I mean, Billy didn't tell the full story. He should have clarified that for Solon, because I'm looking at that as a surefire upgrade. Kind of keeping on the whole comedic angle of things, there's also a scene where essentially the Rangers set up a communications tower or communications antenna, basically the antenna that they used, or that Zato used in season 1 to send messages out into the greater universe to try and contact Rafkon. Again, I like the fact that they're bringing that back because it just pays off for people who watch Dino Fury already. But basically they set that up in the dunes just outside the base on Eridus, and they use that to get communications from Buzz Blast, from General Shaw, and from Mick throughout the episode. And their communication from Buzz Blast is basically Jane and J-Borg on the battlegrounds over here talking about how Lord Zed is invading and how the Ranger teams around the world are fighting, but they don't have access to their Zords. And in the middle of all this, just as their broadcast is ending, Jane tells Stan not to drop the camera, which is funny because Stan's actor is not in this season at all. He was elsewhere. He wasn't in New Zealand at the time of filming. So it's still nice that they were able to kind of include him in the episode despite him actually not being in the season proper. So props to that. And I don't really expect Annie to pop up because last we saw she was in Angel Grove having some sort of relation with Buzz Blast Angel Grove. So I don't expect her to pop up. But it's still nice that we've been able to check in on Annie and Stan between Once and Always and now Cosmic Fury. Comedic-wise, again, Squillia, if I haven't already mentioned before, Squillia is funny. I absolutely love Squillia. And she continues being funny on the Mega Squid Drill base thing. I can't remember the exact name for it. That Lord Zed and all of them are on. Lord Zed looks exasperated because Squillia is leading a dance team right now, and Lord Zed has a great moment where he talks about feeling old and not understanding this whole dance routine thing is just funny. Again, it's one of the moments that just remind me of Ninja Storm, and it reminds me of Lothor talking to his nieces. And as I've told you before, time and time and time again, Ninja Storm is the perfect template for how to do comedy in a Power Rangers season. So anytime you remind me of Ninja Storm is always a plus in my book. Briefly circling back, well, first I do want to explain something. So the monster in this episode is called a Scuttleworm. The Scuttleworm they find, and it is initially like a little baby Scuttleworm that hatches from an egg, and then it eats the food that they found while scavenging the planet, and it becomes a adult-sized Scuttleworm. So the Scuttleworm starts attacking the Rangers, and they end up, Javi ends up punching it with his robotic arm, and sends the Scuttleworm flying. So Javi learns that his robotic arm has enhanced strength compared to his own human arm, and that's great. That's a great little development for him. Later on in the episode, the Scuttleworm is able to smell the food that they're cooking from the base, so it tracks them down to the base. So the Rangers have a really nice unmorphed fight, even though it is brief. And Ion figures out, okay, it's smelling the food that I have on my apron. Let me teleport back into the base, grab the pot of stew that I'm cooking, the stew that looks kind of questionable, to be honest. But he grabbed a pot of stew, teleported back with a BMX bike. That's the key word I'm looking for here. BMX bike. Because, again, just another moment that is a nice little callback to Dino Fury, because as we saw, Izzy and Ion were riding BMX bikes over toward Area 62 back in Dino Fury Season 2, and that was a great moment. Absolutely love that moment, and again, anything you want to use to call back to Dino Fury Season 1 or 2, I'm always happy about, because I love Dino Fury, and anything that can make me feel not validated per se, but anything that can kind of tie into those seasons, I guess. Any callbacks to those seasons are good things for me, at least in my opinion. Speaking of Ion's cafe, while Ion is, over here trying to whip up a stew for all of them, Amelia is comforting him because he's not doing well emotionally right now. He's super worried about Zato. He tells us about how for 6 months Zato was gone, and we just got Zato back for all of 2 minutes before Zato got jettisoned off into space, and they don't know where he is right now, and he is just really, really stressed out about this, despite being able to cook. He tells us that during that 6-month period, starting up Ion's Cafe, it was cathartic for him. It helped him deal with losing his best friend, but in this moment, cooking isn't having that same cathartic effect on him. And it's through this that we get one of our comforting moments for the episode, and Amelia is able to relate to Ion in that she's not doing too well emotionally either, because right now, Ollie's out there being evil, and as we learned from the previous episode, Amelia loves Ollie. She cares very deeply about Ollie, so, it's nice to see that they're able to relate on that note, and she even tells Ion, I know Zato's always going to be your best friend, but I'm here for you as well, and, it's nice that you're going to be there for me as well in this kind of time of stress and worrying. But there are also just a lot more comforting moments like that in this episode, and I really, really enjoyed it. Because when hearing about this season, how it's going to be 10 episodes and just pure story, I interpreted that as story beat after story beat after story beat without really having any chance for levity and moments where we can kind of just see what the Rangers are thinking about on a more personal level. So the fact that they're all kind of comforting each other and they're able to kind of just exist in the moment in this episode and really process everything that's been happening within these first 2 episodes is really nice. We get a scene with Billy comforting Javi, who's having trouble with his guitar. He broke his guitar string, so Billy's like, hey, I'll help you restring the guitar as long as you, tell me how to tune it, because I don't really have that musical ear. Even Solon tries comforting Javi, but he doesn't really want to hear that, and that's when Billy ends up stepping in. And then Izzy and Fern are also comforting each other while they're clearing out a space for Billy. Izzy even goes as far as to apologize to Fern for not telling her about the Lord Zed problem because she didn't want to worry her. But nevertheless, they still, come to an agreement that, that won't happen again, and they're still the best of girlfriends. Speaking of those girlfriends, though, while we don't have a kiss on the lips, and we're not going to get one this season. Like, according to Simon Bennett, we're not going to get a kiss on the lips in this season between Izzy and Fern, and probably not even between Ollie and Amelia. But while we don't have a kiss on the lips, we still get a lot of kisses on the cheek, on the forehead, that kind of thing. And that's also in this episode, and that made me happy. Like, there are a lot of cute Izzy and Fern moments in this episode. And before they got separated, we also had some good Amelia and Ollie moments. And it's really nice to see that these couples are just thriving in Dino Fury and into Cosmic Fury as well. And that just makes me happy. And my last like for the episode is the music. Now, I know y'all have already probably watched the Cosmic Fury trailer and saw the morphing sequence that appears in this episode. And when you saw that morphing sequence, you heard the new morphing music. Well, it was good. It was fantastic. I actually skipped that, but the morphing sequence music has been playing since episode 1. I just haven't gotten around to mentioning it. Figured I'd mention it for the first time when we actually got to the Cosmic Fury morph. And so here we are, and the morphing sequence music is good. Again, Bert Selin turns in fantastic work. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's a great evolution from the Dino Fury morphing music, and I'd like to kind of hear them side by side. I know that PR Unreleased does their own videos where they kind of strip the music tracks from the audio in the episodes, so I cannot wait to see them do their work on Cosmic Fury, because you know your boy's going to be bumping that music in the car ride 24/7. I don't think I've already mentioned it in one of my reviews for this season yet, but the Cosmic Fury theme song was also good. I think I didn't mention it because I've already talked about it in a previous video, but yeah, the Cosmic Fury theme song is fantastic. I've listened to it dozens and dozens of times at this point. I can't get enough of it. That's really all I have to say about it. But no dislikes for this episode. So basically, in conclusion, Off Grid gives us a good chance to have the Rangers kind of rest up and reflect on what's happened between episodes 1 and now. And that's fantastic, especially in a season where there's going to be a lot of story beats. It's nice that we have a little bit of downtime for the Rangers while we're still progressing the plot forward. Now, next up, we're going to go to Lavina, as Mick said earlier. Oh, actually, there is one more thing I do want to add. The broadcast from Mick and Grid Battle Force. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. So the broadcast from Grid Battle Force is basically General Shaw holding a press conference saying that other Rangers around the globe are fighting, but because of a force field around the Earth, they don't have access to their Megazords. So they can't use Zords, Megazords, any of that kind of stuff. But they're trying to figure out a way to disable the force field. Whereas Mick's broadcast is basically saying that he found like Zato's energy signature on a planet called Lavina. Now, Ollie was also able to get access to this broadcast by duping Dr. Arcana into thinking that he's good again. So he went to Japan in Osaka, saw Dr. Arcana, got the broadcast, ends up showing that to Lord Zed, and Lord Zed tasked him with going to Lavina to deal with Zato, deal with the Zato problem, and that's pretty much it. Ollie ends up taking a team because he's trying to, fight like a Ranger, because the Rangers have gotten so many victories. He figures teamwork is the way to make the dream work. So he takes Skrilla's squad of dancers to go to Lavina to find Zato before the Rangers can. But yeah, essentially, Mick then gets the broadcast out to the Rangers, says that, hey, I'm on Lavina. The Squidrills are here too. Y'all need to get over here as fast as possible. So the Rangers morph into the Cosmic Fury Rangers, summon the Zords, and now we're heading off to Lavina for episode 4. But yeah, that is all. Fantastic episode, 10 out of 10. No notes whatsoever. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. I haven't said this so far in my review, but again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. More specifically, in this case, I do want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who has liked my videos, commented, shared them, subscribed, throughout this entire journey, but especially recently, throughout this whole year, because I went from 400 and some subscribers at the beginning of the year to 800 and some subscribers now as of recording this video, and that helped massively. Because of my growth here and on Twitter, I was able to secure an early access screener to Cosmic Fury. Now, this isn't me tooting my own horn, but this is just me talking about how subscribing and all that kind of stuff helps me. And this is me saying thank you. At the start of the year, not even at the start of the year, ever, I would not have thought that I'd be having early access to a Power Rangers season. So for me to get that opportunity, it means a lot. And right now I'm going through a lot of stuff, a lot of private stuff in my family, but Power Rangers has always been there for me through my darkest hours. So to be able to get early access to Cosmic Fury, and for Cosmic Fury to be there for me during this particularly dark hour, it's fantastic. Like, it's helped me so much, and it just made me so happy. So I this wouldn't be possible without all of you out there who are watching these videos. So again, really, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm so happy. Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you. But anyway, again, I'm Dr. Zio. I will see you all in the next one. Hope you all have a good week, day, night, wherever you are. Hope that you're doing well. And otherwise, thank you again for watching. I'm Dr. Zio, and I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao.